Hello everybody, I know that in the last few videos I have mentioned this tool Perplexity, but for some reason I have not actually made a video about it. I think it's time that I make a video about it because I started using Perplexity, I don't know, I used it on and off a couple months ago, but I've started using it basically instead of a search engine, instead of Google or DuckDuckGo or any of those other things that exist out there. I started using this for all my academic type searching that helped me with work. So I want to tell you guys a little bit why I like Perplexity and why you might consider using it as well. So my goal is for this to be a relatively brief video, but as you know, if you've watched my channel, I have a tendency to end up down rabbit holes and rambling, but I'm trying my best not to do that. So the first thing is I went ahead and I created a thread already. A thread is just a search, right? So if you want to type it in, you can do that here, but I already typed this one in. I just said, what is residual heterogeneity in meta-analysis? So it came up with this beautiful answer here, and it doesn't take hardly any time at all. I'm not going to read through this. I'm assuming you guys are capable of reading. So long story short, it has a nice answer. It tells us a bunch of different points about it. But the reason I actually really like Perplexity as opposed to some of the other things out there is it tells us the sources that it got the answers from. And so all you got to do is click it. Like, for example, this. It says its first source was, what do you know? Quantifying Heterogeneity and Meta-Analysis by Higgins and Thompson. So very, very good source for us here. Let's see what the second one is. What do you know? Something from PubMed. Let's see. Another author manuscript. Okay, alternative measures between study heterogeneity and meta-analysis, reducing the impact of outlying studies. So as you can see, the top three things that came up here are academic papers. And this is one of the reasons why I've really enjoyed using Perplexity. I found that, at least for the things that I've searched, many times when I ask what I would call like a work relevant question, which for me, I live in academia land, I work in academia land, so the questions that I sometimes don't immediately know the answer to related to work, like a work type question, it will usually give me very, very solid results. And it'll give me a nice summarized answer, and it tells me where it gets that source. Now, I personally have a really, really, really hard time trusting generative AI. And that is part of the reason why I have not used many of these different tools for such a long time. I've been very, very hesitant. I've been a very, very slow adopter. But I have started using Perplexity because of the sources it gives me. So it gives me an answer. I can check on those sources and I can skim through them myself and see, is this in the ballpark of correct? The second reason that I like Perplexity is its help with coding. So for those of you who don't know, I created a graphic user interface for using the Metaphor and Club Sandwich packages, as well as a few others in R. So it's basically a point-and-click program called Simple Meta-Analysis. There will be a link to it in the description if you are totally into meta-analysis stuff and you want to be able to do it without writing, 3,000 lines of code. So that's there. But as I was learning this, I found myself using ChatGPT a lot to try and get help with coding. The problem is I personally encountered a lot of errors. And so if you don't know what you should be looking for exactly, I found it really troubling because I didn't want to just trust what it was giving me because I found so many things I did know that wasn't correct. So I started using Perplexity just out of curiosity because it's really, I use it like a search engine, but I wondered, can it do meta-analysis coding? So my next question was like, hey, let's say I said building, but I'm going to run a meta-analysis in R using the Metaphor package. Okay, and so I'm just going to finish typing out my prompt and I'll show you guys what it comes up with. And by the way, if you can't tell by how many typos I have, I'm doing this on the fly. So I have absolutely no idea what this is going to come up with, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty stinking close to the right answer. So let's see what it says here. So basically what I said is I want to do a meta-analysis in R using Metaphor. Can you help me write the code? I want to first read in my file called data.csv. My effect size is in the column yi, which is actually the what metaphor is looking for, and VI, which is the variance for the effect size. I want to do a random effects model using REML. Can you help me write the R code? So it says certainly. So first we're going to load metaphor, which is correct. Then we're going to read in our data file, which is correct, and it's got the name right. Then we're going to perform the random effects meta-analysis. So it's saying we're going to call it model. We're going to use RMA, which is the command for a conventional meta-analysis. yi equals yi, which is the effect size equaling the effect size column. Vi equals vi is is the variance for the effect size equaling that in my data set. Data is called data, which if we see here, it is called data, and method, it specifies that we're going to use REML. Then it tells us we're going to do a summary of the results and create a forest plot. All of this code is correct for what I just asked it to do. So this is not to say that there aren't other generative AI tools that could have done this same thing. I am very, very confident that there are. I am sure that, or I shouldn't say I'm sure, I am relatively confident that with the right prompts, you could get any number of generative AI tools to help you come up with this same thing. All I am saying is that in my experience, I found the code from Perplexity to be more useful to me than some of the other large language models that I have tried. Granted, these things are moving at like lightning pace right now, right? So most of my coding was taking place, I want to say probably late spring, really early summer of 2024. And I was using ChatGPT a lot, but that's already changed, I think, maybe 2, 3, 4 times because I don't remember what they had at that point, to be honest. It might have been like GPT-3, but now we're all the way at like GPT-4, GPT-4o, etc. So, I'm very confident there are other LLMs out there that can do this, but I've been very happy with the results that Perplexity has given me so far, and I have pretty much adopted it. And I don't know if you guys are like extension snoopers in Chrome when you watch videos to see what extensions people have installed, but I do not use very many extensions, and Perplexity is one of the ones that I actually did install because I find it that helpful. So instead of just typing in my address bar when I have a question, like by default that would search using DuckDuckGo for me. Instead, if I have a work-related question, I just click on the Perplexity button, I ask it, it gives me an answer, and then if I need it, it's in my library. So I'll ask another question just to show you that. So like, how do I run a meta-analysis in R using metaphor? It's going to give me an answer here, right? So blah, 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 multi-step, giving us lots of information here. And so if we close that and then we go back to our library, you can see it has already moved it into my library here since I'm logged in. So that said, I really like Perplexity. All I'm saying is if you're a little bit skeptical of generative AI and you want to see some sources, I always want to see the sources that the information is from, and so that's the main reason that I like Perplexity. It's giving me the sources that I asked for. I know there are other LLMs out there that will do this, other generative AI that will do this, but I've been using Perplexity for a while now and I've been very, very happy with it. That said, I am still exploring others, but I noticed like maybe this last week that Perplexity is now firmly ingrained in my workflow. So we'll see if I end up adopting something else in the future, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think about Perplexity. If you've used some of the other large language models out there, let me know what works best for your workflow, working in academia land or in your graduate studies or even in just your regular everyday life. So thank you guys. I hope you find this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.